watching Reptiles Unplugged.
I'm John Feely of Feely's Clutch, and you are watching Reptiles Unplugged.
This is Will Rose from Royal Canadian Reptiles, and you're watching Reptiles Unplugged.
Guys, it's KB Reptiles.
Team Helga.
Team Beard.
And you're watching
Reptiles Unplugged.
It's Justin from Jacob Luck Reptiles, and you're watching Reptiles Unplugged.
Nick with Renowned Reptiles here, and you're watching Reptiles Unplugged.
It's your boy Harry Wayne from Royal Canvas Exotics, and you're tuning into Reptiles Unplugged.
You're Triple B, and you're watching Reptiles Unplugged.
All right, what's going on, everybody? So we're finally back live. We obviously skipped last week, so that was a bit of a bummer. But today's guests, I mean, look who we have in the house.
Adam.
So Adam, you wanna introduce?
What's up, Ed? BeachBum Xotics here, Adam, and we've got none other than Miguel from Always Evolving Pythons. Oh shoot, tonight's gonna be awesome, Miguel.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna run out of battery either.
Yeah, it's like we're killing it right now. Yeah, the last interview we had you on, at the end it just stopped. Which was
I have my daughter's battery pack now, so trust me, I'm good.
That's like, it couldn't have been a better ending though, actually, as it turned out. So it also gave us a chance for round 2, which is great, but it was also just perfect. Like we were just like, and then you were gone. We're like, okay, we're done. We're done.
Right? Oh, dude, I was really gone after that night. Trust me. I was gone. No, but seriously, guys, thank you guys for having me again, man. Seriously, I'm really excited about this just because I know it's going to be a little different, and we're going to touch on, very sensitive subject, I guess, in this industry.
Yeah. And so I guess that I feel like, since we've had you on in the past, links are down in the descriptions to everybody's channel. You can go and check out the preceding video, I guess, to this if you want to hear more about some other topics. But I felt like tonight we were going to kind of focus on a lot of like the business side of the ball python game, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So am I, man. I'm super, super stoked about it. I mean, like I dropped that video just recently, something that was kind of going like back and forth on doing. But after just thinking and getting so much emails and DMs, I just thought it was, kind of time to, drop something like that, because a lot of people haven't really done a video like that. And I mean, I don't have the knowledge or, experiences a lot of these big breeders have, but I just thought, I could share my experience with it.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, you'd be a fool to not know some of those snakes you have are obviously super expensive, and so cutting into that, like, it's a bit of a risk too. There's I feel like a certain amount of risk in there, but I think it's really cool the way you've sort of done it. You've done it on, it's like a a 3-wave attack. So you got your Instagram, you got your YouTube, and then you got your brand, and like that's feel like that's like obviously you're doing it right.
No, definitely. And someone actually, the question I got the most on the last vlog was people were asking me, do you feel like if your YouTube helped your success? And that's like 100% yes. I think a lot of my success came from YouTube and the whole social media, but it's just, part of the job,
Right. Yeah, definitely.
In the beginning, a lot of people would always tell me, oh, this guy just does videos. He just puts up a video, opening up snakes, blah, 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 stuff like that. You guys know Adam, Joe. I mean, just to vlog or put a video up there, it's not easy, man.
No,
I mean, it's legit.
It is
a whole day's worth of work.
It is. You got to set up all the lights. You got to get the snakes all ready. You got to start doing the editing side of it, and then posting it. And then there's also the side like you're putting your face on the internet, so it's like that kind of stuff in itself.
Yeah. And that's what people don't understand, man. That people are just trying to say, "Oh, I'm just this guy," with no experience, which they're right, but just doing all the vlogs. But I always tell them, like, well, why don't you do it? You saw it helped me tremendously.
Right.
I mean, if I saw someone doing something that was getting up really high in the food chain, as far as social media and people looking at them, I would have jumped right on board, just like I would have done anything in any kind of business.
Right.
Right. And one thing that I always tell people, especially like the newcomers that are coming into this, which I'm still a newcomer, but what I'm saying, like the guys that are just getting their feet wet, is YouTube is probably, I say, the best platform in the world. Because if you really think about it, what other social media platform pays you to like put up your brand, your story, what you're about?
Dude,
And I'll tell you this right now. If YouTube didn't pay me, and YouTube doesn't even really pay me that much, but it still, a little bit helps. I would still do it regardless, but you get a little plus, so you get a couple of dollars at the end of the month to do it,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's, I don't know, it's kind of an interesting contrast to like Instagram, where Instagram is like strictly just, I feel like there's some ways, obviously, you can make money on Instagram, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's more just like showcase. Like it's a showcase site, and you're using that site for free. Whereas like YouTube, what a cool business model they have.
Dude, they really do, man. Now Facebook is paying, and I heard by next year that Instagram's going to be doing it too. But again, I don't want people thinking like, oh, you want to do this to get money. But at the end of the day, I mean, that little extra money doing something that's a part of your business that you're trying to grow already, and you get a little on the like a little,
absolutely,
like, dude, you can't beat that.
Right,
you cannot
absolutely.
beat that.
Yeah, and it's a kickback. I mean, the cameras aren't cheap, to shoot a decent video, and there is a lot of time put into it. But I don't know. I feel like we could go on all day.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Before we jump right into the deep end, right? Let's. I wanna any people that didn't see Miguel's video that he just posted or any of our previous conversations, kind of wanted to catch everybody up real quick, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Tonight we're gonna be focusing basically on like the investment side, right? The business side of reptiles. And Miguel specializes in ball pythons, but this can cover, pretty much any type of reptile. You can look at it with the lens that Miguel has and that we're going to talk about. But it's also important to realize that while tonight's conversation is focused around money, it's not the only focus, right? Like
absolutely,
we love the animals, right? You can't sell something if it's in bad condition, right? And so that's also part of running it as a successful business, is making sure you have super quality animals that are going to be very healthy, so that way you have repeat customers, things like that. So
yeah.
And also anybody that's in chat, if you have a different point of view than what you hear us talking about, don't be afraid to post a question. I don't want tonight's chat to all of a sudden start hating on people or anything like that, right? And we hope somebody does have a different opinion to offer to the conversation, because that is the way like better discussions happen and more things
without an open mind.
Yeah. So open-minded, and everything like that. So sorry, I just wanted to clear the air real quick.
That's great.
Because
also, this is my experience too. I mean, this
right.
is just what I've gone through in the 3 years that I've done this. So, there's a lot of different ways of doing stuff. I'm just going to share what has helped me and what I've seen in the short amount of period that I've been doing this.
Right. And I like that. I like that preface there, though, about, it's weird, like in the reptile hobby, like what we're about to, we're talking about money and investments and stuff like that. It's like, it can be looked at as negative, because then it's like a connotation that you only care about the money, and like that couldn't be further from the truth. Like every snake in the room I have right now, I bet is better taken care of for somebody that isn't interested in money at all. Like
100%.
I kill myself to make sure my snakes are perfect, because if they weren't perfect, no one would want them, first of all, and then secondly, what am I doing? Like, I don't. It's just so.
And
that goes without
to,
saying, man. I feel,
Yeah.
And just like in any business, just like, for example, when we owned the gym, right? It was doing really, really good. And on top of that gym's making money. We need to get some more staff in there. We need to make sure things are clean. We need to get more equipment, brand new equipment, just like we get new things. We need to make the place evolve.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like, it's almost like I hate saying this word a lot, but it is really looked at as taboo in the snake industry.
Yeah.
Something that I'm going to share that my buddy, you guys know, Will Murrows from Royal Canadian Reptiles, right?
Yeah.
He put this breakdown real quick. Just because I know I'll forget. It's like, when you invest in high-end ball pythons, right? Let's just talking about, like 1K and up, type of ball pythons. He broke it down really, really, really good. He said, look, if you had 50 clutches, say if you had 50 clutches in that year, right? And each clutch sold for $2,000, which it's going to be more than that. I mean, especially if you have some high-end stuff.
Right.
That's already $100,000 in 1 year.
Yeah, it's insanity.
I mean, it's so simple. But when Will had pointed that out to me, a big shout out to Will from Royal Canadian Reptiles as well.
Yeah.
It really made me look at it, because right when he told me that, I was looking at all my clutches, and I was going to things. I was like, oh my gosh, man! Like, at the bare minimum, you're looking at that, and that's already good money coming in.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. 100%, dude. And it's interesting too. I feel like kind of something, I feel like the market, or at least this is something I want the market to push more towards, is the smaller group of animals, higher quality production, I guess we'll call it, but like really innovative genes all the time, and like not just making snakes to make snakes, but making snakes to pursue a direction. And I feel like that's kind of where the hobby is trying to go right now. It's no longer like produce 1,500 pastels anymore, you know, just to get them out the door, you know. So that's where I think it's headed, and with that comes honestly more talk of investment, because now you're getting into higher expensive animals. You got to make decisions, plans, got to make sure everything's right. Like, so it's
you know, it's
topic.
It's crazy that you brought that up. I remember we touched on it a little bit. I remember when I first started my my snake collection, right? I mean, I was afraid to invest in racks. I really didn't know what I was going to do. I was buying collections here. I was doing all these things and that. And I started hatching a lot of, you know, like low-end stuff, like $50 stuff, $100 stuff, you know.
Right.
And what I thought was just having so much snakes and having so much clutches, you know, that was like, I kind of wanted to live the Brian Barczyk life, you know, where he's opening tubs and, you know, I just wanted to live that life. But then when I started seeing there was the money side of it, you know, it goes back to it's way as a better investment. Say if we had $3,000, right?
Right.
To buy one snake, one female or two females, and raise those females up. I mean, if you have those $3,000, not only are you going to be feeding less snakes, but then your chance of producing something better is going to be a lot better. Right. Now, if you have $3,000, you're just buying $100 snakes. You could buy up, I mean, what, 30 of them with no problem.
Army. You could buy
but now you're feeding what, like 10, 20 times more?
Your feeding bill, your feeding bill went from what, $15 a month to $300 a month?
Exactly. Yeah. And you're gonna, at the end result, you're going to be making another $100, $150 snake. And I get it. I don't want people to be like, oh, it's easy for you to say that because you have money or, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm just saying, because I've seen a lot of people invest. I've talked to a lot of people. They're like, hey, man, I have a certain amount of dollars. What do you suggest? And I'm like, they were looking into already buying a group, like 15 snakes. I'm like, look, dude, I mean, if you buy these 15 snakes, I mean, don't get me wrong. You could definitely do, at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. And then once I break it down to them, then they're really thinking like, okay, you know what? Now you just, you know, paying less to feed. And you have something that there's not like 500 of out there in morph market.
Right. Because that's part of it, you know. Availability is a big part of it too. You know, if there's an abundance of something, it's going to be harder to sell.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that kind of rolls back into kind of having a business sense when you're looking at this stuff, right? I mean, of course, you also have to keep in mind what you like looking at, because that's also important too, right? But also keeping that business mind where you're not going to go buy just 100 of the same low quality thing, right? No business would do that. They you know, wouldn't survive very long.
Right.
Just, you know, or they would have to be so large that their cash flow can support that, right? Like, it is a possible business model, right? But you know, you got to think on grand scales if you're going to be producing things like that. Kind of like the boutique level, which I kind of consider, you know, myself for sure, like, and most of the kind of hobbyists that are like out there are at kind of at that boutique level. It makes no sense trying to compete with Walmart when you're a boutique.
Oh, heck no,
right?
Dude.
Just doesn't, right? So how do boutiques survive? That's specializing, producing a smaller number of very quality items, right?
Yeah.
That are highly desirable. You know what I mean? And then you throw in like the branding with it, and you know, then it's a whole package, right, of how you do it. And so, anyhow.
You know, and now that you bring that up too, like, when I dropped that video, this goes, you know, people would always tell me, and I would see it a lot, people saying that there's no money in this industry, and they kind of make joke about it the whole time. I'm pretty sure you guys seen it on Facebook.
Yeah.
They just belittle people, and it's like the new guys coming in. And when people were talking about that, that's what made me want to drop that video, because when I first started, instead of me spending hundreds, you know, of dollars on all these snakes that I knew weren't going to make me money, and I knew these people knew that it wasn't going to make me money, you know, it definitely would have helped me out, and I would have gone about it the whole different way. But in a way, I am glad that I went that way, because it was a learning experience. I'm sure you guys, you know, have been through something similar before.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I've seen right now, that people say that there's no money in this industry, or, or it's either there's no money in this industry or you're all about the money. You don't care about the snake.
Right,
That's the two main things that you see going on right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just don't get the stigma, man. I don't know why, like, I was talking to Adam about this earlier, is I feel like there's this stigma that money is bad and you can't make money from this, and you shouldn't, and it's animals and stuff like that. But those are the same people that watch the motivational video on YouTube where they're talking about finding their passion. And it's like, man, found it. Like, your passion will pay for you, and like all that stuff that everybody wants all the time. And it's like, well, we have it here, actually. So
Dude.
I don't get why it's bad.
It's because my thoughts on that is because I think there's so many closed-minded, insecure people in this hobby that they try to keep it so, so low. Now, if you really think about dog breeders, dude, they've been doing this for, decades and decades. And they're like now breeding dogs that you can't even breed naturally because, just to make that certain dog. And these people are making, $250,000, $500,000.
Yeah.
Dude, trust me, I've seen, when we bought Rogue, our little miniature bull terrier, this guy, that's all he does for a living. He was the European bloodline of miniature bull terriers. We looked him up, and this guy honestly lives like you wouldn't believe. And I was just like, hey, man, what do you do? He's like, dude, they're honestly, the way they breed their dogs is just kind of like how people cycle rodents, but obviously in the lawn, because the dogs live longer than rodents. You know? But again, they don't get such a bad name or rep on it as like the reptile people do. But again, they have awesome shows. They have amazing sponsors. You take dogs for all these AKC, these awards and stuff like that, and it's perfect.
Right.
But in our industry, oh no, it's frowned upon, which doesn't make any sense to me. And I honestly,
how would you pose your snake? Like, dog pose up?
Yeah, something like that, but either way, though, man, regardless of the situation and what business, no matter what, we're going to always have these people. But I honestly do feel, again, I'm new to this, but I see the rise coming, and it's getting better and better every week, every month, every year. And it's because, of, I would say, the new mindset of people that are coming in.
Right.
We're being more open with it and stuff. And do look at these shows. These shows are getting bigger and bigger. Pomona went from being really small to being one of the biggest shows like in the world.
Yeah, I remember 3-4 years ago, my first time going to Pomona, it was kind of just, it was a slightly bigger version, just like a local Arizona show. And then now it's like that very first year, I think it was me, you, and Cusco in the lobby, like by ourselves on Saturday
that's
night.
Right. I remember
Friday night or something like that. Yeah, I think Family Jewels was there too, and it was just us. Yeah,
that was my first time too.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. Like with the people that try to keep it down, it's like, I think they're being so close-minded and insecure. They think that the more people that come in, it's going to be bad for them because they're so like worried about people taking their sales and stuff like that. But dude, it's not like that in any business. If there's more people in the industry, dude, the better it is. When I first started when I opened up my gym, and then my brother Jesse had opened one, dude, we were there. They were at this time was at the highest peak of training. You know what? It was better for us. More gyms were opening, more customers were coming in. And that's like in any business. I think the more people that come in, there's so much room to grow in this industry. We're not going to be able to take care of everyone's needs. None of us. We're not going to be able to breed all this stuff.
No.
Right. That's it, right? Demand. You know what I mean? And a lot of times you're right. Like the naysayers out there, or the ones that are doing it for this specific motive of, I have to protect my little corner, are, the same type of people in other businesses that are like, there can be no other competitor. I must have the entire pie. When that's the wrong way, right? Like if you build a business that the pie keeps getting bigger, there's space for everybody, right? And
check this out. So here's a good example. I had that clutch, which was a black-head leopard to a inchy pinstripe pied, right?
Yeah.
And I hit 3 blackhead leopard head pies. Dude, that whole clutch sold honestly within like a day.
Right.
So people were calling me, and I was kind of like, oh my God, I feel bad. So I'm like, hey, dude, let me call someone. So I call someone else. I'd call someone. So not this. I was like, hey, go on Morph Market and just Google it and just find one for yourself like that. Again, like I'm not gonna be able to produce 200 of those types of snakes. They're hard to come by as it is.
Right.
And that's what comes back to investing in a rare project, and dude, I'm telling you, man, the more people come in, the more people grow, the better it's going to be for this industry. And I'll tell you right now, and I'll say it with no problem. In a year and a half, maybe 2 years tops, I will be doing this full time, and that's it, without a doubt.
From
Awesome.
this point,
people could take it
from today.
Dude, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
People could take it how it is. You know, they'll be like, oh my God, this guy's not. But no, dude, it's something I love. And like you said, if you're making good money, that means I'm taking care of my snakes. I mean, Jesse's not expensive. Jesse is, you know, he's worth every freaking penny, man. And, you know, if it wasn't for him, he's made me evolve in so many ways because he took that pressure away from us, you know?
Yeah.
But Jesse also does other stuff too as well. And now he's taken up on the Reptichip thing. I mean, this guy's like becoming the full-on entrepreneur now, you know, out of nowhere,
Dude,
you know?
he's killing it.
But without a doubt, you know, I will be doing this full time. And after that business bidder that I did drop, dude, I couldn't tell you, like about 10 people reached out to me. They're saying like, yeah, did I do this full time? I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you guys open with it? Like, it's good for everyone, you know?
Right. Yeah. It shouldn't. Yeah. I don't know. It shouldn't be shameful. And I think a change in the idea of what the investment is, I hope is kind of pushing in the other direction where, like you were saying earlier, is if you took that $3,000 and invested, you know, in 3 snakes instead of 30 snakes, everything from that point forward is just going to be better. It's just going to be better. You know, you're already going to have these really, really high quality snakes. Everybody is going to recognize it in a social media driven market. You have to have pretty snakes, man.
Exactly.
you
said it
have
right
pretty
there.
snakes.
Social media driven market. Like, dude, you don't even have to do so much of the work. Do a little Instagram, and then when someone drops a bait, look at Justin Kabelka when he dropped the magma stuff.
Dude,
people that had red stripe sold out, completely sold out.
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Right. It's crazy, man. And again, I want to do as much possible to do on my end to change it as much as, you know, possible. Like, you know, like you guys, you got Joe, you got Adam, you got Will Morrows from Canadian Reptiles. He's another guy. Justin. I mean, you know, these guys with this business mindset. I mean, it's something that I think we could keep on pushing and making it grow as much as possible and stop being so quiet about it.
Right.
Because I'm honestly going to be full on open about my experience with stuff because I know it would have helped me in the beginning. And I'll be open with numbers. I'll be open with stuff like that. I mean, I can lay them on the table for everyone just to make them feel secure. I mean, talk about when I say an investment snake, I've invested in a snake that's been like between $5,000 and $10,000.
Right.
And a couple of females have been like $3,500. Say if I was like $25,000 in, dude, in 1 year, I made more money back than I would have made in almost any CD account or any kind of stock at all.
Right.
The stock right now, what's it giving you? 3.8%, 4%, if that?
Yeah, I don't think 4. I think it's like low 3.
Yeah. Dude, you could invest on this. I mean, obviously, I don't want people to get this in the wrong way too. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna invest 30 grand and expect so much back. I mean,
and there's no risk, right? There is
guidance. I mean, you have to think ahead, you know, like, hey, you know, I should do this. But that's why, you know, there's mentors or, you know, just really nerd out on it. But I'll tell you right now, ball pythons honestly seems like it's a better market and investment, a stock than anything else, really. I mean, and especially if you love the stuff, I mean, dude you can't beat that.
It's awesome when you like what you're doing. It's awesome. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, right. You know, they're just like with any investment, there are risks, right? And, you know, one of the major risks with working with the animals is literally if the animal lives or not, right? I mean, you know, I've spent a couple thousand on animals and ended up they died in a couple months, right? And there was nothing wrong with them. I took every precaution, even had a vet do a necropsy afterwards, you know, but it's one of the realities of this, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
So, you know, right. I mean,
but that's just a risk. I mean, the way I see that is just it's something that just happens in life regardless. It being snakes, it being, you know, I mean, shoot, you could die the next day with no problem. Be like, oh my God, what happened with all that? You know?
Wait a second.
But again, that's just
you invited me over to your house tomorrow. What's going on? Are you planning on
I
going?
know, right? But that's a risk that we take just, you know, on a daily, you know, as humans, really, you know?
Dude, get in your car.
I agree, right? But, you know, I think it is important because sometimes people, like, and this is, I think, where some of the negativity comes from, just to kind of bring that into the conversation, is sometimes people get so hyper-focused of, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 and I'm going to breed it to this, this, and this. And within 9 months, I am going to have 20,000 sitting in my life.
Yeah.
And then,
Now, yeah, you're
right?
definitely right. You're right.
You know,
Yeah.
and then but that money that they were putting in was like the last of it, right? You know what I'm saying? And they're like, this is going to work. It's for sure. Hold on.
It's
like,
it's not a get rich quick scheme.
It's not a get rich.
Yes.
Exactly.
Patience. A lot
Yeah.
of patience. So,
A lot of
you know
patience.
what I started doing, and it was funny. I wanted to talk about it on the next one that I did is, so when I talk about, you know, like I do a snake and, you know, I make $5,000 off of a clutch, and say the pairing costs me $3,500. Now I'm $15,000 up, but that male is still going to 4 more females. So say the male made me 35 grand, right?
Right.
And I'm 25 grand in my pocket, profit, right? Profit.
Mhm.
Half of that is going to go to another reinvestment of snakes or something to keep it going. Because again, it's not like I'm going to invest in these snakes and whatever I get back, I'm like, ooh, I made it, man.
Yeah.
You'll be stuck in that same level that you started. And you always want to keep going and, you know, reinvest. I'll tell you right now, this whole year, I've reinvested half of my money already into new stuff.
Yep.
But the cool thing is, my reinvestment wasn't really towards buying a lot of snakes. I only bought 7 snakes this year, opposed to buying 30, 40 snakes last year.
Right.
You know?
Big
But as far
difference.
as investing was more of, you know, like having someone else picking up an editor, you know, to give me more time to work on my social media, getting this building ready, you know, stuff like that. There's just so much things that gets reinvested in this. So yeah, it's not a quick, you know, get rich type of investment. A lot of patience
not at all.
Right. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, I think, you know, I think this may be fun to talk about. So like when you are looking at the snakes out there, right? How I guess would you mind sharing how you look at maybe a project or a specific morph and think, okay, I'm going to invest in this. These are certain things I look at.
So what I've been doing lately is one, I'm pretty sure all of you guys do it too. I go on Morph Market a lot, right?
Yeah.
I put on combos, I see what's for sale,
Obviously.
you know? And usually when I see but I'll put in a couple of morphs that are really, really hot right now. And then I'll be like, all right, so I'll start looking at stuff and like, man, there's like really none of that being sold whatsoever. So, you know, I'll make a couple of phone calls. And I'm just talking about any project right now. And I'm like, hey man, do you have this and this and that? So I'll grab 2 or 3 females. And let's just use blackhead, right? A blackhead thing. So, you know, Justin, for example, had this blackhead leopard clown.
Yeah.
And I Googled, and I was like, oh, because the snake was a pretty penny. But I could not find one anywhere on Morph Market whatsoever. So I look at the rarity on this, you know. I see people, you know, I'll go on Morph Market. I go on just a lot of forums. And that's what I've been doing recently is looking up like specifics, you know, who has this, who could possibly make that. Then I'll look at people that are possibly going to make them. Again, you have to worry about the odds. Are they actually going to hit that snake? But while I'm waiting for that, I'm already growing up that female.
Yeah.
That no one really has. Maybe 1 or 2 people have. But then it gets to the point where she's about 1,000 grams. Now I can start thinking about the male and seeing what else. And I'll do the same tactic I did on the female with the male. And then, you know, boom. That's what I've been, you know, that's my thoughts on, you know, projects.
Right.
On projects, right. Okay, so you look kind of rarity and, you know, so along with rarity though, like, because I know we've all seen it, right? Where we're stumbling across something on Morph Market and there's only like 5 of them. So you're like, okay, this has the numbers to be rare. But then you look at it and you're like, well, shoot, that looks like 3 other things that I've seen recently too by a different name, right? So I guess along with rarity, are there other factors that you're looking at as well? Like for, you know, for example,
100%.
like,
like honestly, people are gonna be like, oh man, you're a big Justin kiss ass and stuff like that. But like, I also look at where the snake's coming from and the brand that it's coming from. I mean, besides the rarity part of it, I mean, you know, the stuff that Justin makes, even some of the stuff that Daniel from Constriction Edition has been making, I mean, they're pretty hot stuff, man. And I see where the stuff's coming, where they're going with it. And it's kind of like, you know, you're not going to lose your money really if you play with the right stuff in the beginning. You know, I said this thing like you buy cool stuff, you make cool stuff. People will buy it.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
So branding and where it comes from is a big plays a big part in my eyes. You know, getting stuff from Justin. Justin's known for having high stock. I say high stock because, and even him and I are good friends. He still won't be like, if he says a snake is this price, it's that price. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dude.
So
Yeah, it is.
when you do get something like that, and he's so far ahead in so many projects, you don't really have to worry about like him crashing that market down, or you know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing to talk about too. Is this market can be volatile? Like it's stuff like that can happen. You know, these high-end projects can crash overnight. You know, and I think that a lot of that comes to the massive breeding programs where people have 700 snakes, and they're and I get the purpose behind that, but I feel like it also has kind of some negative to like the little, I'm going to call us little guys that have 30, 40 snakes, stuff like that. So it's interesting, so that's, I feel like, where the recessive game comes in, and I feel like that's why recessive is so much more valuable usually than the co-dom or incomplete dominant stuff.
Yes, and that's what I'm basically honestly trying to get everything in recessive. Joel, you and I had this conversation a lot because we both invested in the Sunset Project. Remember, we were talking about this over and over, and I knew from the beginning that I was never going to catch up to these guys that had the Sunset Project whatsoever. Like I said, the mail that I got, you can find it 3 times cheaper now.
Yeah.
But the cool part about this, though, when I did buy it, I know my mail's up to size, so I threw him to everything that's recessive to make double heads.
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't tell you how much calls I've gotten about that. And remember, I didn't make no crazy heads, no visuals. I didn't even make no visuals this year on this.
No
subject,
visuals.
but I'll tell you right now, just throwing him with all the females that I invested in 2 years ago, dude, I'll tell you right now, like, if I wanted to sell them, but I'm not going to sell them because I'm going to be like freaking Willis from Royal Canadian Reptiles.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to just pour everything back.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Good. It is,
Yep.
and that's the foresight into what you can really do, and it's not pump it to 73 different pastels and just get a bunch of pastels, pastel, and there's nothing wrong with the Gene pastel. I just use that because it's one of the most common. You could replace that with spider, even yellow belly. I feel like, even though I love yellow belly, but like a lot of those genes they're everywhere, and so it's like. Putting it to that first, I feel like you're handicapping yourself in 4 years, and you're now set up to be insane. You're set up to be arguably double or triple more innovative than you are now in 3 or 4 years, just with that.
Yeah, and that goes back to say if we just use $3,000, that $3,000 is a lot better to buy that one single female or those 2 females instead of buying 30 of pastels or whatever. And again, I want to just throw this out there. We are talking like strictly business. I think it's awesome because I know a lot of hobbyists that do have pastels or yellow bellies that breed
Bananas.
just to make cool stuff.
Dude, they're
So there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah,
and it's a
this is
huge
strictly-
accomplishment.
It
Yes,
is.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So which I think it's super cool. But and like we said in this thing, it was we just want to touch on the whole business side. I knew like I would get DMs like crazy talking about like, oh man, you don't care about this type of stuff. Trust me, I get it all the time. So it's strictly just the business side of the industry.
Right. Because each one of those genes is integral to everything. Like if you like pastel sunsets, dude, those are incredible. Those things are nice.
Amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
And just like somebody posted in chat earlier, like, let's see, I think it was One Soft Kiss. We can't forget where we've come in such a short time, right? Like all 3 of us, we're relatively new to this compared to kind of like some of the, said OGs in the hobby, Kevin McCurley, Brian Barczyk, right? Those guys literally started out with normals and maybe a pinstripe and a pastel if they were lucky, or maybe, you know what I mean? Like
they got an albino.
And so now we're able to have a discussion actually like we are because of pioneers that came before us and kept, hammering it out, proving different things out, right? And so, we're not diminishing if, hey, your goal is to just master being able to breed, you want to do a clutch, and your price point is making super pastels or something like that. That's awesome, right? That's where this begins. Tonight's conversation is kind of like the next level, right? Not the 101 class. You've done that. You graduated from the 101 class. Now you're ready for some intermediate to more advanced discussions, right?
Yeah. And that was our
Yeah,
first. I feel like that was our first interview with Miguel.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
we were in 101 on that.
Right.
So now we're just, being a greedy, money-hungry snake.
Yeah, right.
110%.
It was so funny. Someone told me that on my comments. I couldn't say like, oh, I knew you just cared about the money. That's all you care about, blah blah blah. Or, you're only there because you got to buy all the expensive stuff. I want to say something real quick. This is gonna be perfect. So a lot of people say, oh man, you only have the stuff right there because you spend so much money and blah blah blah, this and this and that. First of all, there's so much people that spent more money than I have. The only difference is that I opened up with it and I aired it all out because of my YouTube. That's
Right.
the only difference. But I know people that spent 4 or 5 times way more than I have.
For sure.
I mean, I'm not going to start off if I look at something on the business, which I did start off with, one gene, codoms and stuff like that. But once I saw the business side of it, I did want to invest and buy some cool stuff. But I didn't always have money. I just started making really good money about 5 years ago.
Right.
But I've always worked for myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get it twisted a lot. They're always like, oh man, you just bought all the cool stuff because you had this much money and stuff like that. Dude, I busted my butt, man, to get where I'm at to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
Right. Dude, that's it. It's hard work, right? I think it was Billy earlier in chat. That's what, he was saying basically is, you invest time, quality will come behind it, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not just, oh, hey, throwing out the money and then you sit back and you just watch it happen. No,
there's a lot more too. I mean, look what we're doing right now.
Right.
Like
Dude,
there's so
it's
much
like
to this.
I couldn't tell you how much times I've gone into the snake room when I'm going to start my breeding and stuff and be there for about 2 hours with a notebook and researching. Then I go the next day and I completely change everything. I spend so much time like stressed mentally, like with these projects just because I want to get ahead. I want to dude, it's gotten so addicting.
Yeah.
And dude, it's so freaking cool when you have like some certain rare snakes and you're making stuff that still a Justin hasn't even made or so-and-so hasn't made. You're like, wow, man, there is really a chance to get up there, to be one of the big dogs, be one of the respected big breeders,
Right.
It's just, like you said, putting your time into it, a lot of time. And, like Billy says, a lot of passion, man.
Yeah.
Because without it, honestly, we wouldn't be able to have the success we do in anything if it wasn't for passion.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you hated doing it, you're just either going to perform at the bare minimum just to do it, Yeah. You're never really going to like bring it to the next level unless you actually enjoy what you're doing. You have some passion. You want to see it to that next level, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right. And that's, I think, kind of part of why a lot of people, it's that uncomfortable topic, like talking about money and all of that stuff. And so a lot of people get squeamish and they don't want to talk about it. But at the same time, that kind of snuffs your drive a little bit. Like,
dude, I used to have a group of friends, man, that we used to talk in this chat. And, these guys were more experienced, stuff like that. They would always say, oh man, you invested a lot of money. It's going to be hard for you to get it out there, or there's no money in this. And it's like, I remember when I first started my first business, insecure people, like I started a construction business at the age of 22 years old, straight concrete business, right? People are like, oh my God, there's no money here. You're too young for this, or blah, blah, blah. But it's because they don't want you to do that. If there's no money in it for you, doesn't mean there's going to be no money for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everyone has their own story and their own road to be successful at whatever you do. But I will tell you right now, to all the new guys, if you guys are watching and you guys are really looking to do this as an investment or as a business, I'll tell you right now, 100% do it. Picking out right projects, investing your money smartly, rare stuff, great brands. Man, there's a lot of room to grow in this for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, because we're dealing with endless combinations of beautiful, beautiful animals. Endless combinations.
Yeah.
And it's so, guys, trust me, man, there's a way of doing this, and it's not rocket science, man. It's very, very fun. You get to meet some great people. Just don't listen to the people or stick around the people that are going to tell you that there's no money into it, or they try to belittle you, man, break away from them as quick and possible as you can. Because if they already have that negativity around them and they're telling you this, there's no reason why you need to take any advice from them.
Yeah,
Trust me, I know
that's
for a fact. For a fact.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, they're just holding you back. Yeah,
They are
for sure.
in every facet of life, not just the snake facet, you know. So it's
Right.
We had kind of a cool question pop up though, is kind of about, you know, this on the other side of this is what do you think, like project longevity, or maybe when some of these more expensive morphs, how long do you think it'll take before they come down, you know, stuff like that?
Again, for me, it's kind of hard to answer that because, again, I am new. I've been here 3 years, right? So from what I've seen, 2 major projects, I would say in the 3-year range is when I saw it. Because when I first saw these snakes, they were at $30,000. Then a year passed by, they were at $15,000. Another year passed by, $5,000, $7,500.
Yeah, And that's
the sunset gene.
Yeah,
and that's the sunset. And again, I mean, I invested in the sunset second year, so kind of gives me an idea what I paid for it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that because here's the thing. If you know, I remember Mike Wilbanks had this video a long time ago when I first started watching this with the banana. If he didn't buy it at that time when there was $50,000, he had all those females to put into it, you know, he would have missed out on a lot of money, you know? And this kind of goes with invest in a snake that's 20, 15 grand right in the beginning. I think in the beginning, it's the perfect time when you grab that male, or even if it's a female, because in that time, the price does go down. You're already a couple years ahead, and that snake is a lot bigger. And now you could choose the male or vice versa, the female to put to it.
And the other side of that too is how many people are really in the market for $30,000 snakes? 8,
exactly.
You know, like, I mean, not 8, but you know, compared to the people that are available to purchase snakes at that, I feel like a higher, you know, average investment, like $1,500, $2,000, stuff like that. Like, that's a bigger marketplace too.
Oh, 100.
And so it's not the worst thing that the project comes down, you know?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. It's not the end of the world. Right. Like the sky is not falling just because you see a price lower a little bit. And we have examples of morphs. You know, you brought up red stripe. That's a great example. I mean, that morph was very low as far as what people were willing to pay for it. And then Justin produces the Pompeii. Man. I mean, the price triples, quadruples, you know, overnight for just like single gene animals. You know, if you had a combo of it, it was nice. Whoa, okay, should I hold it or get rid of it? You know, like,
You know, this is one thing I really do like. What I like about Justin is that, you know, a lot of people could have done the Pompeii. A lot of people could have done the red stripe or the black pastel to red stripe, whatever. Let's just, you know, think of the regular genes. A lot of people could have done it. But Justin always had that mind of, you know, thinking outside of the box and stuff like that. And that's what I think separated him from a lot of the other breeders that kind of got stuck in the same thing, making this out real quick just to be first. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He didn't look at it like that, you know? And then it's like when you go there and you check your facility and you're like opening something up and it's like double head this or quadruple head this or, you know, double visual this. And I'm just like, dang, man. I mean, he put a lot of hard work and time in it too. And then another one, like I said, I brought his name as Will. You know, I talk to Will a lot, and he's one that I take a lot of advice from, and I always, you know, bug him and stuff like that because I like the way he thinks of things, you know. He also has that mindset of, you know, what's the next project, not for next year, but you're talking about 2 or 3 years down the line. You're talking about some heavy stuff, and that's kind of what I did with the Sunset project. I'm not thinking of this year because I could have made some cool stuff this year. I'm thinking more 2 to 3 years down the line.
3 years. Yeah, and I think
hold on, they cut you guys off. Aubrey said, "Hey, Dad, got to give Aubrey a special shout out. She's in chat tonight.
Love you, babe."
Shout out to
Aubrey. I think you're right on that. But if like let's say so every year you make a breeding for 3 years from now. Eventually, 3 years from now is going to be every single year. You know, you're going to start stacking your years, and now every year. You're at that point where it's all paying off. You know, it might not be the Sunset project this year, but I'm sure other projects have paid off for you this year that weren't Sunset. And then by the time the Sunset's paying off, the following year, you're going to be that much deeper into another thing that you plan this coming season. And so it's like it's a snowball of really putting all those things together.
And it's honestly, it's because I stocked up on so much females. I was just buying females just to get them, like, but some really good high-end females, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, and now it's like I still have these females that I'm raising that I thought I was going to pair this to it. But now it's like, once they're up for this coming season, I have totally something way, way ahead of time now, you know? But again, it's all the stuff that you invest, that you're willing to grow up and be patient with, you know?
Oh, yeah. There was
No,
a time
and
I
again,
was
it's like-
showing up to your house and you're like, hey, you want to see this? I'm like, dude, what the hell? I was here just 3 days ago. Where'd this come from? And you're like, oh, I just got it yesterday. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, it was just female after female.
Yeah, dude.
But it's crazy, man, because, and now it's like, here's the cool thing. And again, guys, I want to talk about branding real quick. Branding is the number one thing in any business. Branding, social media is great. But like how Joel had said that, you know, the social media driven market is so insane that even if you don't have a huge following, that one person that does break out that one snake, it's going to only work to your advantage as well, because
Dude.
he's not going to be able to produce a lot of them. You know,
100%.
Adam and I were talking about, you know, like, because Adam comes to the house a lot. We have a lot of projects that we're working together. You know, Adam's a really, really good friend of mine. And we always talk, my goal is to make stuff that a lot of people are not making. I mean, you know, like you're talking about 2 or 3 kinds of stuff. That way, when people say, hey, could I buy the snake off of you? You know, you're not going to see a flooded market on morph market on them at all.
Right.
Nope.
You know,
Yeah.
and I've been lucky enough with my social media, opening up with things like this have been really good for me as far as, you know, selling snakes. But at the same time, it could also work to your advantage, because I'm not going to be able to make all these snakes all the time. You know,
Right.
Enough of
Right.
them.
Right. Exactly. So, all right. So we had a decent question come in. And they were kind of asking, like, what 3 morphs would you pick if you were going to invest today? But I don't know if we want to drill just into the morphs, or like, because sometimes, like, I feel like that's kind of like a dead end conversation where you're like, well, I like this, I like this, I like this. So
I'll tell you, I could tell you right now easily. Like,
Okay.
If I could like 3, I'll still do the clown regardless. Clown is just
Right.
a crazy freaking thing. I mean, it's
Right.
endless. Puzzle, it's just, you have to go on puzzle. Puzzle is going to be the next biggest thing, I'm telling you right now. And I think Sunset, because there hasn't been too much things done with Sunset.
Yep.
Those are 3 that I would choose, honestly,
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you are working with those. So my follow-up question to that would be, which we already kind of talked a little bit about this, but like, so, you know, why did you pick, for example, Sunset, right? Like, to you, like, I know it was a very catchy morph, but like, what drew you to it? Where did you see it going?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw the Sunset was a picture. I was just looking up ball pythons. I remember if you guys were to go see my first YouTube channel, I would always have the sunset at the end. I didn't even know it was a sunset. I just saw a snake that looked red, and the Brian Barczyk, I took the picture. This is
Yeah.
before I even knew Brian
I
Barczyk.
remember
It was
that,
a black
dude.
thing. I would always have it at
remember
the end. I still have it on my old computer. So I just thought it was a cool snake. But the other thing that drove me to it was the price on it. I was like, holy hell, 35 grand, 30 grand. When I first looked it up, I was like, I want that snake. Like, that's honestly what drove me to that snake. Was I liked the way it looked, and I liked the price on it. I was like, wow, man, people are really selling these type of snakes. Why can't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
And
right.
that's the honest truth. That
Right.
honestly is the truth.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's what we're here for, right? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, so that was a business decision then for you, right? Like, you saw
Yeah.
the Sunset at the price that it was at, and you were like, okay, I've got to have that. And if it's at this price, then I'm confident I'm going to be able to do something with it. So let's see. So Clown, for example, it's been out for a long time. Tons of people are working with it. Why do you still think it's a relevant morph?
One, again, Justin has made Clown such a popping, like, let's go back with his brand
Mm-hmm.
and all the new cutting edge stuff that he's bringing in every year, every other year, dude. It's a very crazy looking snake. The patterns on it is so wacky and just different than almost any other snake. And
Yeah.
I just think, you know, with Justin pumping out so much popularity with the Clown, I think it's just always going to be that snake that's just going to be one of the top cool snakes in the world.
Yeah.
Right. Well, like it'll always be producing something, cool, right?
Always, always. And again, it's endless combos. There's so much things that no one's been doing with clowns that are still. I have some things in the working right now that no one's done yet. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Some
Again, but it's
insider
like, 'cause you
info
have so much
coming
code
right
on
now.
that. Yeah, and that people
It
forget.
says-
I gotta tell you guys about a clutch that I hatched that's just so insane. And tomorrow's vlog, I show it off. But yeah,
I can't wait, man.
Right. All right. Hey, maybe shifting gears a little bit. Marshall's law. So Marshall earlier had posted for this year for him, it wasn't so much snake investment, it was facility investment, right? So what are your thoughts on that, Miguel?
So again, remember in the beginning where I wasn't too sure, like if this was going to be, I was a little nervous. I was scared because I had got, in the beginning of this, I got kind of taken advantage of, for a good amount of money.
Right.
And I was like, man, these cages are so expensive. Like, you guys remember I had that freaking tent where all these snakes on there,
Yeah,
I still made it work, but it was a lot more work. So when I made my money, half of my money back that year, I started seeing that there is money in this industry, and I invested in that room, the facility I have now. And I will say this, since I've had that, it's probably been the best thing because everything's on temperature control.
Oh.
I went from 30, still had the same amount of snakes, 30 clutches to now, like, we're looking at over 50 plus clutches.
Right.
And it's just so much better for the snakes. Breeding has been amazing. And it's just, I think facility, putting money into stuff like that is huge. I think it's really, really
okay. Good. Yeah. So, all right. So
must.
What was that? Sorry.
It's a must for sure.
A must. Right. Okay. Yeah. So, and that's kind of, I'm kind of one of those guys. If I can invest in something that's going to make my life easier, oh my goodness, what an investment, right? Like,
yes,
you can't quite quantify it, right? On paper, but like your overall sanity and the success that you have, right? You can hit the easy button. All right. So I invested in a badass AC system. Now I can set it at 80 degrees. So no matter if it's 110 or 50 degrees outside, I know that room's going to be good, golden, no problem.
Absolutely.
I got the racks. I know that with Freedom Breeder or ARS, they're using premium heating elements, right, that are soldered the right way. You're going to minimize the risk of burning down your place if you're going with good quality thermostats, all of these things, right? And but I also think that it's something not to get too caught up on right away. Dude, I used to go buy the plastic PVC or the plastic pack from Home Depot, freaking chop it up, put it together, Rubbermaid tubs, you know what I mean?
Bro, I'm telling you, man, everyone could go back to my YouTube when I first started. You see the whole transformation, man. And again, it's because in the beginning, I didn't realize that there was that much money into this. And I hate bringing up the money thing, but it is true.
Well, yeah.
The reason why I do bring it up is because I know I can make a living off of this. And to be honest, it's getting very close to that, And I would say 80% to 90% of the people in this reptile industry, even though they say they don't want it, dude, that's 100% what they want. 100% what they want. Who wouldn't want to? We love this hobby so much.
Bummer. Yep. Yeah, bummer that you get paid to do what you really enjoy doing, man.
Living the American dream, right?
Right. Yeah, it's so foreign to me that that's an issue. And I remember the first time I met you in person, outside of talking to you on YouTube forever ago. That was kind of the first things we had talked about, and I was just like, gosh, it's so nice to hear that from someone else, taking this industry into a business and into professionalism, acting accordingly with contracts. There's real money out there, and people are getting bent out of shape because they're not doing it right. AKC, those dogs like that. Do you know the paperwork I had to sign to get my dog?
Bro.
Right.
It's insane. I'm committing to no breeding rights or these breeding rights or and so it's why can't this industry be headed in that direction?
Again, because the closed-minded, insecure people that are in the industry. And I'm not saying no names. It's just when I first started, I came across all that, dude. I couldn't tell you how much people. Till this day, I still get it, But since I was younger, every time someone tried to belittle me or put me down or say I'm not gonna be able to do it, dude, it pumps me up to do so much better, you know.
Yeah, dude.
And I love the fact that I've surpassed a lot of these people that said I wasn't gonna be able to do, because a lot of them are not even in the game no more, or they're still in the first step that they've been in the last 10 years that they've been doing this. So obviously it didn't work out for them, you know. With that much years down the line, they should have followed my 2 years.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You have to kind of wonder sometimes when you come across these negative Nancy's, right? I'm just going to call them that, freaking negative Nancy's, right? And they're throwing out, well, I've been doing this for 30 years. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's kind of like, oh, all right. Well, thanks for showing me the best example you could.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not going to be listening to you, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to start having these conversations out in the open and, you know, talk about the negative things you're hearing too. And other people like you, Miguel, you're offering your own personal experience with this of how you see it and what you're doing to make it a reality for what you wanted, right? So don't get caught up in other people's realities, you know, chase your own dreams, you know.
Really don't, man. I'll tell you right now, if you're a part of these forums that you see on Facebook and you see all the bantering, the little shit talking there, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, that's normal. But when you start seeing like the people get belittled, it's like, dude, get out of it. There's no reason to even be involved with it, man. And there's none whatsoever.
100%.
I couldn't tell you right now. I follow maybe 1 or 2 Facebook groups just for that reason. Right. And I stick to just to basically Instagram and YouTube, because on Facebook I've noticed it's more of the high school mentality. I couldn't tell you. One of my biggest, I hate when people say, someone posts a picture of a snake. Oh, what is that? And they're like, same thing. Oh, it's pastel spider. Oh, I only breed pastel spiders. Dude, like, these are grown men saying these things to guys that are really want to know these things, you know? And it's like, dude, like, I mean, if I came into this, like, and I started seeing that in the beginning, I would have seriously wanted to punch these people right in the mouth, dude.
Absolutely.
Like, it's so, I hate it, man. I hate the way people get treated. I hate the way people, you know, get like belittled, man. They just push them down, you know. And that's why I came to mind that I wanted to do that whole business side of it, because I want to change it up and tell people there is a big market. There is money in this, and again, there really is, man. I'll tell you right now, like in the 2 years, my third year, my money that I've made, I've already made it all back. The new money that I get in now pays for Jesse. It invests in new snakes. I pay for an editor.
Pays for Josh.
For the rest of it, I'm coming. More of it's still coming in to save. And dude, again, you never know what's going to happen in life. You never know if there's going to be a big storm and something just crushes all your animals. But again, that's just in any kind of business. Right. But I'll tell you right now, and a lot of people don't like it because I got some emails and messages saying that I was too new and too green to talk about. But I'm not too new. And I'm not too green about this, because I'll tell you right now, guys, it's doing really good for me in the short amount of time. And if you have other larger breeders, bigger breeders with more experience hating on that, it doesn't really show too much of their character or their experience and knowledge.
Right, right, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you're too new. I mean, they should also add, you're too new and successful. Wait a second, right? You know what I mean? Because that's really their issue with you, right? It's like, wait a second, how is this newbie so successful? I better tell this guy he needs to learn his place. And I'm sorry. Hey, you know, that type of stuff doesn't fly with me. If you've got the right mindset and the drive and, you know, the passion to do it, I don't care if you're 2 weeks into this, you're going to be successful, right? Like,
and look, and one thing that I always do too, if I go to a show, I shout out everyone. If I'm going to your table, I am going to shout you out. I've suggested people to go buy from here, go buy from there. I am not an insecure person. There's not enough snakes that I could produce myself to take care of everyone. You know, the stuff I used to get all the time is like, oh, you don't even know your morphs. You don't even know this. You don't know that. I still don't know my morphs. I really don't. But if I breed them, I have a little better of a chance, and I'll reach out to a couple of my friends to help me out with it. But look, man, if you have those friends that are, you know, those people that have been doing this for 15 years, and you see that there's no growth in them, dude, I would always think in my head, like, dude, how does this guy have the balls to say he's been doing this for 10 years of the business?
Right.
I was like, dude, you need to stop telling people that. Start telling people you just started this or you're restarted it, because it's not a good look on you, you know? And unless it was 15, 20 years of like being a hobbyist and like loving the animal. There's nothing, again, we're talking business side of it, because I've had people tell me, oh, I've been doing this for 15 years, you know, there's no money into it. Well, let me tell you why there's no money into it. First of all, you have no business mindset. 2, you're not evolving. 3, you're just a horrible person.
Right.
You know?
3, you're just a horrible person.
There wouldn't be money in it for anything they did. It's
Yeah.
not just snakes, or it's just their attitude, and that's the bummer. You know, don't pass that attitude on. That sucks. You know.
Right.
Yeah, it does. But that's in this community hobby industry, whatever you call it. There's more of that than positivity. But I do see I guess the new age breeders is what I'll call them, you know, and the other, you know, like we are making a big impact, a huge impact.
Yeah.
I mean, look, check this out, man. I've been doing these collabs with a lot of kids, you know, just doing crazy collabs, right? And it hasn't even really helped my channel as far as views and numbers in any way. Subs, yeah, but as fun, you know, as far as views, it has not helped. What I've noticed is that more like how would you say, like more people are getting in tune with reptiles. I can tell you more people have messaged me or DM me that had nothing to do with reptiles. Like, hey, how did this snake look like this? How blah blah blah.
Right.
And then just recently, I got a DM, literally a DM from Ben Simmons. Hey man, do you sell snakes? And I posted this today.
Yeah.
And I was telling Tim, like, man, should I post it? People are gonna hate on it, you know, blah blah blah. The only reason why he came across my stuff is because I was out there, you know. I wasn't bringing out big snakes, but I was bringing different colored snakes to these events, to these people to look at, you know, doing, you know, a collab. And now this guy find out that he breeds them, you know, Pac-Man Jones, you know, from the Bengals.
Yeah.
He has ball pythons. Dwight Howard. I mean, all these guys have reptiles.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's not talked about, you know. But it's pretty cool being 3 years in. And, dude, Ben Simmons just literally bought a good amount of snakes from me. And that honestly is like a big, like, wow. But again, it just doesn't benefit me. It benefits the whole industry. The whole industry.
It does.
Because the market that it's going to, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. You know, I think overall, like, I think it's really just some people disappointed in themselves that keep talking it down, right? And that's why you're such a fresh like you're so kind of new to it that you have this passion. You're bringing other people to it, and look at all like the collabs you're doing, dude, are freaking amazing. You're bridging that gap of kind of people think, oh, reptiles are weird. Oh, but this professional sports athlete likes reptiles. Well, I'm gonna check them out, right? I mean, so
Ben Simmons likes snakes. Oh my God, I want snakes. You know, it's like it's that thing that makes popular dogs. I mean, when the French bulldogs, everybody was buying them. That was like the clowns of the dog industry. They were selling for $5,000 artificially inseminated dogs to breed. Again, they're not getting no C-sections to have these puppies. I mean, it's crazy. But then we get the bad rep of talking about we're making money, $10,000 snakes, $5,000 snakes. You know, it just makes no sense.
Dude, you talk about a crazy industry. Look at horses. I mean, you want to talk about big money on and bulls. Holy cow! I mean, my brother.
You know what happens when one of those things breaks their legs?
Oh man, yeah, exactly.
They could be out for $300,000 on that.
I saw Seabiscuit. I watched that,
dude. But again,
I cried.
Yeah, it's just, you know. But hopefully, you know, between, you know, a lot of us, you know, we could start, you know, changing a few things here and there, man. And I honestly have a good feeling like this is going to be blowing up and growing like crazy. I see it, man. It's insane.
What advice would you have for somebody that, you know, just starting out, they've kind of listened to the message tonight, right? And they're thinking, okay, actually, if I look at this from a little bit more of a business perspective, I think I could actually get more enjoyment out of it. But, you know, I'm not really the social media type. What are some branding tips, like right when you're beginning, right? Like, or what are some no-nos I think actually are more important, things that we haven't talked about? What are some no-nos?
For me, for a no-no would probably be everything that I did in the beginning was, you know, talk to people that weren't the most helpful, that were, you know, you think they were there for your help, but it was more for their, you know, bashing. 2, jumping into something out of excitement without no real, how do you say it? Without making, having no, I'm sort of a brain fart right now.
And like a
jump into
sound
something
mind.
without having so much research into
Mhm.
it, because I did that a lot. And just pretty much, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to explain because I kind of jumped into this just because my daughter told me to do it.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? And I kind of learned as I was going. So it's, as far as no-nos, I mean, it's, don't buy out of excitement, because I think a lot of people do that because they see us now opening these trays, having all these crazy cool snakes. You know, being male, you know, heavy. I did all those things. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, if there was a specific question, I could answer it.
What are some social media no-nos, right? Like if you're trying to brand yourself right at the beginning,
No,
what are some...
no live feedings. No live feedings. Let me tell you right now. No, but as far as branding, honestly, I am very, very huge with confidence in yourself. Dude, I don't care what kind of stuff you're in, what industry you're in. I was taught this about when I was 29 years old, and it's so cool. It's like, if you have so much confidence in yourself, you never know who's going to be looking at you on the other side, regardless if you know the person or not. But that confidence could go so much ways, and you don't know if the right person is going to be looking at you, and that alone could make your brand humongous, ginormous.
Yeah,
it's the confidence starting whatever brand that you start, having 100% confidence in it, man, is you'll be fine, regardless if it's good or bad. As long as you come in with confidence. And dude, you've seen there's a lot of people that have some brands out there that are not the coolest, but their confidence is so high that people just fall in love with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And right. And there's that fine line, I think, you ride between confidence and arrogance, right? Where like, just because you own 2 ball pythons, you know, you don't have to be attacking the world like you know everything and you know, you got this reptile company name and here I am, right? And take me serious, right?
It was pretty cool. I just got this message yesterday, and I messaged the other person back, and they're like, "Oh, it's so cool how you follow so much people back." And I am huge on that, dude. I am not one of these like you know, people that, you know, won't follow people. If I look at people that follow me, it's usually I click on them, I see that they have a snake. Boom. It's like instant follow for me. Because I remember back in the day when I first started, I would like Brian Barczyks or the Justin Kabelkas or, you know, like the Billies, whatever, you know. And when you get that follow back, you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's following back. There brings so much excitement to it, you know?
Right.
I am not this huge celebrity influencer or this guy that just can't, you know, follow someone back, dude. If you have a snake picture on there or, you know, something like that, or I know you do, I'm giving you that follow, man.
Right.
You know, people love that, man.
Heck yeah.
You know, it's like it just allows me to open up more. And, you know, like learn more about that person and just, again, making it rise.
Dude, I remember when Adam followed me finally. It was like, dude, yeah.
Right? I still haven't followed Adam.
Yeah. You know, I will say, too, something I feel like that is probably the dumbest advice you're going to hear tonight, but maybe the smartest at the same time, is when talking about how to start your social media page and you know, some of that stuff. Is a big secret is to just start. Like, just do it. Like, content is king on social media, and so just start. Because in the maybe 6 months you're going to decide how to start, you could be a year and a half worth ahead by posting consistently and already starting, you know, and just moving forward.
So that is not dumb. That is honestly the key. Is just start. So I couldn't tell you how much people I've told, start a YouTube channel, start a YouTube channel, start a YouTube channel. I would say about like 50 to 100 people without a doubt, like monthly. You know, I'll tell them, and no one ever does it. Do you know Jason Hill, right? JH Pythons.
Yeah.
He was one of the persons that I said, dude, you need to start a channel. You have a family. It's not literally the like 2 days he started it. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
and look at him. Yeah. Now he's going. Now he's doing, you know, like really good. So like he like right off the bat he took it, you know?
Right.
And it's something like you said, just do it.
Yeah,
put a picture on it. Throw some hashtags on there. Just throw it on there, man.
Yeah.
Hashtags are key.
That's how you're gonna get better too. You're gonna grow with it. You know, I mean, same thing. Like you could look back at my old videos. I like there's like one where I feel like I had like a shaved head and I looked like a neo-Nazi on this, you know, on this video. And I'm just like, man, why did I post that? That was so bad. And like, you know, lighting's terrible and it's like all that stuff, man. You learn all that just by doing it too.
That was the real reason I never followed State.
Unfollow. Let me unfollow you real quick. Boop. No, but yeah, just do it, man. Start an Instagram. Put a name on there, throw some pictures, throw some hashtags, and just be consistent with them. Do it every day. Do it every
Be
other day.
consistent.
But
Yeah.
stay consistent with it.
Yeah, be consistent and to be yourself, right? And like you don't need to have something exotics to feel like you need to post, right? Even if it's just under your own personal name and you want to show people your snakes, that's what it's about. Interjecting yourself into this community, you'll start realizing that like you start making friends, and then you start talking with more and more people, more information starts coming your way, you can make more informed decisions all the way around. Like, yeah, and it's something that I struggle with too. Like, I mean, my YouTube channel, I haven't posted anything of my own content in a little while, and so it is, I understand the struggle with it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But it is one of those things you just have to swallow it sometimes and just put something out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Just do it.
Just do
like
it.
Joel said. Just
Don't-
do it.
don't
And
charge
honestly,
us
that
nice.
is the
Dude.
key.
Analysis paralysis, man. People
Yeah.
get paralyzed by analysis and they don't act, and it's that's, you got to move, man. You got to
Yep.
start.
Yeah,
514
so true,
Reptiles posted something interesting earlier
Yep.
that I think kind of goes back to part of the beginning conversation that we were having, but he was saying that a lot of people avoid mentioning the money part because they're scared to attract people to the hobby for the wrong reason. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Like, so is that a valid kind of counter argument to what we're kind of saying of like, hey, look at this from a business, right? Like,
No, because the way I see it is, if you get those people that are all about the money and they think it's going to be like a quick turnaround, they're not going to make the money that they want. And it's actually better for the people like us that see it as far as as a lifestyle, as a business that we do full time, because we're the ones that have the passion for it. We're the ones that want to make, a living off of it so we could keep creating these awesome stuff. So, even though you get those bad, you're going to get it regardless in any industry.
Yeah.
You're going to get the people that want the bad money, but I think it's good for us.
Yeah.
So,
It has that. It's a circular argument though, because that same thing can literally already be said for the side of no money. I mean, there's thousands of terrible keepers in this industry with little money, and so it's the idea of no money also attracts terrible people. So it's
it's crazy, man. I've came across some breeders that they have a full-time job, but they obviously breed also full-time if you want to say. But when you have that mindset, it's like if you're not making too much money on your own collection,
right?
I've seen people where they have to take a couple of weeks off before they feed their reptiles, or they have to sell this to feed their reptiles, and it's kind of again, that's why I bring up the whole money thing, man. I mean, my snakes make money. My snakes get fed really good every week, and Jesse gets fed really good.
Well, not super good.
No, Jesse gets to feed everyone really good. But
I thought you said you fed Jesse well. Like,
well, that's what I and like it sucks, man. Like bringing in the whole money thing because the way people look at it, man. But it'd be so much surprise if you look at it so much other industries besides reptiles. There's more people making more money off of other creatures, but we're the ones that get the the frowny faces on, the sad looks, the horrible people. But man, it's an amazing business. It's a very, very profitable business, beyond profitable. It will give you your investment back with a lot of hard work and patience, more than any investment CD account that you could do with any bank right now. And I could bet on that. I could put paper by paper on the side from any bank. If you put 50 grand on the bank or 50 grand on some projects, you'll make way more money back off of those snakes than you would off of, an investment.
I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah, doing it the right
that's
way.
what a lot of people don't like talking about. But man, I'm seeing it now that I'm hatching a lot of stuff. I'm seeing it every day, every week.
Right.
And man, it's amazing.
The other side too is, and along the way of making that investment back, instead of that money just sitting as digits in some account, you're enjoying these animals you have, in your house or in your facility or whatever it is. You're building a social media brand. You're going to reptile expos. You're meeting all these people. So it's like, dude, not only is it like going to pay you back more, you're also going to have a completely different life than what you
lifestyle.
Yeah, you know.
You know, you
Yep.
both of you guys know my brother Eric, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That last video I saw him, I think it was on Nick from Renown's video. I don't know. He had the leopard gecko. He
Yeah.
was talking about what the leopard gecko ate. He said
So
jelly.
believe
He's all jelly.
Eric has never been into reptiles whatsoever at all. He's always known that I've always been into it.
Mhm.
So he fell in love with the shows, going to meeting you guys. You know, I took him to Tinley.
Yeah.
He's asking me about every show. Again, Jesse and Eric are coming to Tinley again.
Dude, I
Their
can't
wives
wait.
want to come. They
Can't wait.
they brought their daughters. They're, you know, and Eric, believe it or not, he is so like interested in snakes now. He's even thinking about starting his own thing for his own. And again, just to start him, just because he fell in love with the hobby, but being introduced the right way, as far as, you know, meeting the cool people, not being those, you know, people that are trying to keep the, you know, us alive from doing our fun and,
Yeah,
you know.
pin down negativity. There's so much drama. There's so much blah blah blah. You know, that guy's selling 6 snakes. This guy does that. This guy does.
Yeah.
You know, jeez, man. You know.
Yeah,
That
think
guy's
about it
too
like this.
expensive.
We could be breeding cats.
Right. Yeah.
We're cat people.
I mean,
you know.
I
No, I'm joking.
like cats. I'm just allergic to them. I just found out. So I wanted to get a Sphinx. Is that what they're called? The
Yeah,
naked
hairless,
cats?
man. Those are cool.
So I wanted to get one, but I'm allergic to them. But I heard they pull out a higher content of
Dander.
yeah, dander than the actual cat with hair. So
Didn't know
kinda
that.
sucks.
I didn't know that either. So we
Yeah.
have to get you a non-dander cat if you're gonna have a cat.
Well, some
All
dogs
right,
don't
give me a
shed.
lion.
That
I
is
heard
true.
lions are cool,
Yeah, we should just go lion or tiger.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, lion or tiger. I think that would be a really good one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
really good one.
Not
what, dude? Right.
Okay, so we're past the hour. Let's open it up to chat. What do we got? I mean,
Yeah.
any last questions here? Let's get the ball rolling here. I know we have far more viewers than we've had some people talk in chat. So let's hear from somebody else on what they think.
Yeah. Been hitting some good questions in there as
There
we've
has
been
been.
going.
I
Let's
really
see.
like
Well,
that.
that's anything.
That last question by 514. That was a cool question because that is
Yeah.
something to think about. You know, does money bring the wrong people? You know.
Yeah. Babe, I'm sorry. I don't
Sometimes
have
it does.
out going.
Oh, I've been paying you stuff this whole time.
Sorry. Hold on, let me pull it up
Okay,
and
we
we see.
got- we
Heather's
got Will.
Heather's been dutifully noting our questions, and I didn't have Hangouts open.
What would you say your top 3 DJ Khalid keys to success are?
What?
Your what?
Your top 3 DJ Khalid keys to success.
DJ Khalid. I have no idea.
That's from Will right now. He wants to know your
That's
top 3.
Instant ban for Will. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just when he was almost a full-time broadcaster from up north for us. You know, like right back down onto the practice squad. Biggest regret so far in your journey from morph mixology?
Biggest regret. Could you guys see me?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay. My biggest regret was going under a wing of someone that I really didn't have too much information on,
Yeah.
just because he kind of like I felt very comfortable with him, and I thought he was selling me the dream.
Yeah.
That was honestly one of the biggest regrets. Also, not really seeing too much videos on the financial business side of the reptile industry. Those
Okay.
two.
Yeah, but I feel like solid. Yeah, solid things. That initial experience you had would have driven a lot of people away. I feel like.
Oh, it almost did, man. I was like,
Bravo
wow,
to you for sticking around.
horrible.
Did you just crush a bottle? Was that what that
I
was?
might have done that.
Yeah.
It's like I have that
Who's
such.
batteries? Someone's batteries.
Dang it! You're right.
Joel's dying right now.
All right, I'm switching, and I'm out. I'm back in, just like that. Now I'm here. You guys can't see me, but they can see me. So
I
doesn't
can
matter.
still see you.
You can see
I
me?
could still see you on the other camera.
Yeah,
it
but
hasn't
you were
died
still there.
You never
officially yet.
left.
That one's gonna die, and then you
Yeah.
won't see me anymore.
Oh, okay. All right, so go ahead.
But YouTube will. All right.
Yeah, there we
Let's
go.
see. some of the cutting edge snakes to be affordable. Exactly. And so we kind of talked about this. They were talking about kind of morph depreciation, things like that. I don't know if there's so the exact question, Jeff Willingham. I fell in love with these snakes a few years ago with so much innovation. When can we expect some of these cutting edge snakes to be affordable? You know, example, Batmans, etc.
Yeah,
right?
we touched on that a little bit.
We did touch on that.
Yeah.
From what I think it's a 3 years. Because again, this is what I've started. I've seen a lot of snake depreciate in those 3 years. They go, again, let's use $30,000. Second year, 15. Third year after that, anywhere from $500 to $7,500.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So about a 3 years, kind of what you look at.
Again, this is just my experience and my short amount of time that I've been doing.
Right.
This.
And that makes sense, right? Because that's pretty average for most females to go from hatchling to, consistently producing eggs. I mean, I know you have some of those rare females that they're really young. They pump out a clutch or 2-year mark, Yeah. But 3 years, I think, is that kind of median line of where you can expect most statistics to fall. Yeah. So let's see, Dave Kelly, what's the size of your snake room and how many snakes does it hold? And that was, I think that kind of goes with the infrastructure.
Yeah, 14 by 25 is the measurements on it. And right now I have, 175 snakes.
Okay.
And that's including hatchlings right now too, though.
Oh, that's including hatchlings.
Yeah, that's including hatchlings, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have a big collection. Like, it's not. I mean, I'm still growing up a lot of things, but yeah, it's not super crazy.
How many of that do you think are breedable females?
And there about 60.
Okay. Yeah.
60. Okay. Here's one from Nick, our friend up in Wyoming here.
I like Nick. Nick's a good kid.
Nick is a good dude, man. I like Nick also. But he brings up something that we haven't discussed yet, which I think is actually kind of interesting. Do you insure, the specific question was, how do you insure your business, or do you plan to? So I'm wondering, it's kind of the insurance side of it.
My snakes?
Yeah. Do you insure your snakes?
My whole snakes and building is insured.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fully insured. Yeah, and if you guys are interested in that, I could definitely, make a video on it and tell you guys so you guys could reach. And it's definitely, you have to show some kind of, like receipts, paperwork, and stuff like that. And it's a pretty good down that they ask for, but it's definitely worth it, man.
Dude,
you won't get what you think mentally what it's worth, but you're looking at about 16 to 70% range.
Yeah,
with
most insurance.
Yeah.
Right. Well, right. That's better than zero. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, yeah. Let's see.
What's your top 3 favorite double recessive combos?
Oh, dude. Man, that's a tough one.
That's a hard question, I feel like. Yeah, that's
I would say a hypo puzzle.
Yeah.
Hypo puzzle. Yeah. That's it.
Favorite double recessive? Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Hypo puzzle.
I'm more of a hypo clown guy than those.
Yeah,
those
dude,
silly
actually, you know what?
Dude,
Yeah.
whatever, Joel.
Yeah, black pastel hypo clown is probably
that's dude. Anything double recessive DG is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Desert Ghost clowns are amazing. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, clown pieds. Obviously, I love clown pieds.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, they're decent. Sunset pieds. That's my favorite.
Dude, I can't wait to see the sunset pied or the sunset clown. That's gonna be insane.
That's what we're gonna do. Well, I'm gonna get a male this year, and then you get I'm gonna get a female this year. You get a male next year. Vision.
Yes.
And then we'll do sunset clown pieds.
Dude, that would be insane.
Yeah,
man.
we'll get all visual sunsets, but we'll hit double recessive clown pied.
Yup.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm on.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a good one. Where the heck is Adam? What just
I have no idea.
Jeez, like I was waiting for him to send the next question. I looked down, he's not in his cubicle.
I can't see you, so I only see.
Oh yeah,
I
I'm
see
off. I'm off. You're right.
the
Yeah,
wood,
I can see
and I see
everything.
a black screen.
Yeah. Well, Adam's really screwing us up right now. There was another question that when's the when's the building coming out?
What?
When's the new building coming out?
I want to say no more than 6 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be so freaking cool, man. It's gonna be. I mean, I've already talked about it, right? You guys know about it, right?
Yeah, isn't it like a new facility?
Well, it's gonna be a facility for just like private, like my own like reptile collection. It's gonna be like my own little like reptarium,
Okay.
and it's gonna be my garage. So all the cars that I own are gonna be in literally like right here, so I can have them for like my, for content, and just like I have my own big man cave is basically what I'm doing,
Right. Okay.
You know. Again, this is thanks to breeding ball python. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to afford it. Like I'm definitely taking care of all that just through snakes alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, just touching on the money thing real quick. I don't produce a lot of snakes. I think I had 3 clutches this year. I had 3 clutches last year, and this year should be my completely even year for
Oh yeah.
2 years of breeding, and only
Especially if you hit those odds that you've been hitting too,
Well,
man.
dude, I've obviously been like stupid lucky, but it helped obviously, but only 3 clutches each, and I'm already at that profit margin that
Oh, easy.
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's for the entirety of the every snake I have, not just paying off those snakes that I bought. So that's also the big difference. Is there's other ways to look at the investment of profit is paying off your clutch, or your clutch, your pairing, or the entirety of the whole kit caboodle.
And this goes again like we were talking about. I can't stress it enough. Is guys, if you guys are looking to invest in some female ball pythons, save up the extra dollars. Don't get so excited to buy it right there and then. Save a little bit more and get something with an added recessive or even it being het. Trust me, in the long run, you'll be thanking me and you'll be thanking yourself. Trust me on that.
Absolutely.
Man.
And that's kind of the point I really wanted to touch on with the somebody will say that's a really expensive snake, or no, $1,500, $2,000 is a really expensive snake. And a lot of times the people saying that are somebody with 150 snakes, and it's like, dude, that's not expensive for you anymore. That's not allowed to be expensive for you anymore. You have more invested in that than all your snake, almost your feeding bill. It's.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So if that's expensive, man, you need to redirect. I feel like
there's something about if you have that mindset, and this goes with any kind of investment. If you have the mindset where it's going to take so much for you to drop a good amount on something, that already shows that you don't have confidence in yourself to be able to put that money on that snake to see yourself down the line, making that money back.
Right.
A lot of people have so much hesitation with that. One thing I hate, I can't stand. This is just me though, and I was taught this growing up. When I started doing financially good, is I wish I could have that. I can't have that. Oh man, a little too much for me. Dude, It's not a little too much. You save a couple of dollars, a little bit more. You don't need to get it right there and then. Start a payment plan. I know a lot of people do payment plans, but it's something about saying, oh, I spent $5,000 on the snake. I spent $4,000 on the snake. Dude, I see it all the time, man. Don't have that I can't mentality, man. If you have that I can't mentality, you honestly should not get into this as a business. You should probably get into it just as a hobby. I'm telling you right now, because you're already defeated with that mindset.
Right.
Trust me, I'm telling you this. It's so true. I've seen it done all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't.
Absolutely.
I wish. That's a failure's mentality, hands down.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
And I do agree. 514 was saying expensive is relative. Completely agree with that. Expensive is relative. The example I use, I say that person with 150 snakes because even if they bought every single one of those snakes for $100, that's $15,000 that they have invested into that. And so $1,000 to $1,500 shouldn't be a lot of money to you for snakes when you're that deep, I guess is the point.
Yes, that's a perfect way of putting that out like that layout. That's so true.
So
it's like you have to really look about how much you're looking to put into it and how far you want to go with it, man. Do you want to do it just to say you have this snake, or do you want to, just have some cool stuff, or do you really want to do this as a business, man? It's a lot smarter and better to go in deep all the way, man. Don't go halfway. There's no reason for it. If you want to, and that just goes to any business. You're not going to see someone open up, a car dealership and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy a couple of 1980, Honda Civics, or just buy 2 Ferraris. Look at the payout on both of those cars.
Right.
The difference on it. Are you gonna make more money off of selling 15, 20 Civics or 2 Ferraris?
Right.
I'll tell you right now, man.
Definitely.
You'll make a lot more selling those 2 Ferraris than those 2015 Honda Civics.
Yeah, definitely. And with half the labor, or not half the labor, but half the lot size.
Yeah.
In that
Less work.
Yeah. No employees.
Right. Derek had another good question. I know we probably want to start kind of winding down. We try and, but I mean, this conversation's really good, right? And we're covering topics that don't get discussed about a lot. So if you can hold on a little bit, Miguel.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Hey, trust me, I'm good.
Okay. All right, cool. So Derek had a good question. Do you think it is a good idea to go LLC for your business, or,
I think it's 100% really good to do any kind of LLC. I myself have like 7 of them.
Right.
It's really good to, have that security and just that ground as an LLC.
Yeah.
And guys, don't think that starting the LLC is that expensive either. You could do everything so easy online now.
Dude.
So yes, definitely, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Again, but this goes back to having that confidence or something. A lot of people are like, no, I'm gonna just go and see how I do. Dude, start off hard. Start off with a hard, platform, a big grounded base.
Yeah.
And just go for it, man. This is what I like about starting businesses. And I've had like multiple different kinds of business. I've been successful in every single one. But the only thing that's going to fail in your own business is yourself. It's better to invest 100% in yourself than invest into someone else, because that someone else or that other business could fail because of that person or because of so-and-so. This business that I'm doing, any business that I do, is going to fail because of me. And trust me, I ain't going to let that fail no matter what. I'm going to grind my butt until I make these things work. Even if I just started, and this goes to everything that I've started, a concrete business, a nutrition store, a gym, just investments. Dude, I take 100%, responsibility for everything, because the only person going to fail is going to be myself.
Right. Miguel, so Rich asked a cool question. Do you have any good resources for people maybe that are interested in business? I don't know, maybe like your top book or podcast or website or something. I don't know.
As far as just things that I look at?
Yeah, like, to kind of give somebody some business sense, right? Like some basic resources.
A lot of people, look, to be honest, I'm not big on following, how do you say it, motivational speakers, or just as far as, business, channels, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm really not big on those. A lot of people share stuff with me, and I do watch them here and there. Some kind of, I know Gary Vee's a big guy that, talks a lot of stuff as far as, business and, content alone and things like that. I've just never been one of those people. Maybe I should, because I could learn so much more, but I'm just not that person. I think motivational speakers are great for a lot of people, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
So for you, you found either local sources, people that or
everything that I've done, I've usually mentored under someone. And then I end up just using my mindset and try to go a different route.
Putting your spin on it.
Yeah, every person that I've chose in any kind of business, I've always made sure they were super successful in it, and then hopefully they guided me in some way. And even if they didn't guide me, I've always just looked at what they do and what made them be at where they're at. And then I throw my twist in there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, a comfortable familiarity, dude. That's where it's at.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Guys, remember, I don't have no degrees or anything. I dropped out in 9th grade. So that's going to be a big... So guys, anyone could do it. Honestly, I have no high school diploma. I have no... dude, my education is horrible. My grammar's still horrible, man. But that just tells you, man, that, it's like, dude, 9th grade dropout here, man. And I've been very successful in a lot of businesses.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool, dude. And it's all that little stuff, dude. I don't know. We could talk.
I wish my parents loved me more.
Well, there's some deep psychological stuff we could get into, I guess.
I don't, right? Dude, 1 hour of straight crying, like, oh my God, I hate myself.
That's the next interview, man.
Yeah.
We'll have that one.
Yeah. Sob session with Miguel.
Yeah,
For real.
Miguel's
Give
kicked
hugs.
on.
No, dude, Miguel, thank you so much for coming on
Oh,
tonight.
no worries,
'cause-
man.
And we've talked about I think some things like you mentioned in your video that need to start being spoken about, right? Don't be too afraid to reach out. If you don't get somebody, like, everybody's time, a lot of people are busy is what I'm trying to say. So don't get discouraged if you don't reach out and get an immediate response, right? Keep at it, right? This all takes hard work, and that includes finding mentors sometimes. So just really want to appreciate you coming on, giving us some
Thank you
great
guys,
info.
man. I've been
Yeah.
wanting to do this, man. And again, I mean, I was so hesitant with doing something like this, but I'm starting to get so much more message, and I'm starting to see more people on Facebook get belittled and stuff like that. And I just think it needs to change in some ways, man. I think this hobby, this industry, this business could grow so much more and be a lot bigger and be what it really is, man. I just think it has little things that it needs to be changed. And if you're worried about people thinking of what of what you're doing, if you care about that, man, don't worry about it, because with a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be opening up about, I'll be taking all that heat for you guys. But trust me, I'm 100% okay with it, man. I have a lot of good friends, the people that I know that are close to me and who care about me, and that's honestly all I really need, man.
Yeah,
There's a lot of room to grow here, man, and I think it's going to be up to all of us.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
100%.
like
We
it,
can
man.
all participate.
I like it. I like where your head's at.
Yeah, and a plug for yourself, Miguel, for
where you
anybody that may be watching this later on.
BeachBum Xotics. All my information in the description down below. No, for you, I mean, my name's Miguel Garcia. Always Evolving Pythons, but Always Evolving Pythons is going to be in the next, I would say, week or two at the most.
Yeah.
Okay.
No more Always Evolving Pythons. It's going to be finished.
Just to AEP?
Just AEP family. This business started as a family. This whole channel started as a family. The whole Always Evolving thing is very personal to me, very close to me. But it's something that I didn't think was going to be so big. So it's something that I'm just completely going to just separate it from a little bit and just keep it AEP family. That's what this started as, and that's what it's going to be from now on.
Yep, dude, I like that a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, and special shout out to our chat. I know I mentioned it when Heather and I did our little video, but you guys really are awesome. Appreciate you guys driving tonight's conversation, asking some great questions. Yeah, really do appreciate you guys out there. So
yeah,
and big shout out to Harry from Royal Cannabis Exotics. Where's the Reptiles? He needs to change that name.
Yeah. RCE
Exotics, right? I get them so confused with Royal Canadian Reptiles. It's like, dude, man.
I thought they were the
shout out
same
to
person.
Harry is one of my most favorite people in this world. Chris Graham used to be, but Chris Graham has gotten super sensitive these past few days. So, but Harry, you're the man, dude. You too, Barrels.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. We're going to hang it up. And until next time, Miguel, thanks so much again.
Cool. Now, when we hang up, are us three still going to stay there, and then we're going to talk smack about
we'll
make fun of Harrison right after this.
Yeah, we'll end it on the live, and then we'll talk trash about Harrison for sure.
All right.
All right. See y'all later.
Love you, Karen.